Welcome to Subramani. Today I'm going to talk to you a little about my checklist and how some changes are being made when in an overvalued market like this. So here it is. It may not be useful for all of you, but those of you who have a checklist can check this checklist to see how this checklist matches with your checklist, right? So one first question today that I ask is what is the downside? How much can it fall by? So when I was buying Zomato at 122 to 127 or something like that, I said I will keep a deep stop loss of say 60, because all these stocks which are on fancy pricing tend to fluctuate very violently. So I wouldn't be very surprised if Zomato were to drop to say 70 or 80 because one quarterly result was not good. Of course, if it goes to 400, then dropping to 70, 80 does not look possible. My stopping trail loss would also be higher. But I will not be worried too much about fluctuation in price, because I do realize whether it is an Amazon or any of those companies, if you had bought it at an original price or at the time of issue, you would have gone through a lot of churn in your stomach. It is not easy to sit through. It's not like let's say a Maruti or a Mahindra and Mahindra or State Bank of India or HDFC Bank or HDFC Limited, which will have a narrower range. When you invest in a company like Zomato, you will find that the range is going to be very high, or or any business which you don't understand enough. So yes, you make an attempt to understand the business, you do all those things. I've spoken about this in earlier videos, but you keep a very deep stop loss simply because you know that this is what can happen. So the first question is, what is the downside? So on 120 rupees Zomato, I thought the downside was about 50-60 rupees. So which means it could half from where it is. So be ready for that. I'm not saying that every share that is going to happen. So I know that I'm expecting to get double my money in about 4 years time, right? So that is about 18% return. 72 divided by 4 is about approximately 18. This will turn out to be 18, 19 kind of a return. This is what I want, and I will have a 4-year holding period, which means if I buy a share at X price and it doubles before 4 years, I'm very happy to sell. I may or may not sell it. I may not trade out of it. I may hold it for the next 300 years. That's a different thing. But I am ready to, it has achieved my target. I don't have a target expectation more than that. Though, of course, there will be some shares which do very well. In those cases, I will sell off partially and hold on. And if the fundamentals are good, I may even buy it again. So that's a different thing. But yes, the first thing is, what is the downside, especially in the market which is so expensively valued. Many shares are expensively valued, some shares are not. But first question to ask is, what is the downside? And if I were to get out of this share after 6 months or 8 months, I should know why I am getting out, because I thought it is going to double at least in 3 or 4 years. 4 years is my outer limit, 3 years is what I actually would like, but 24% return is very difficult to target. Yes, it has happened over the last 3-4 years, but has it happened over the last 40 years? The answer is of course not. It has not happened over last 40 years or whatever, 42, 43 years. It has not happened. But yes, there will be some shares which will outdo it, some shares which will double, triple, all that will happen in a very short period. But after that, the averages catch up. And so after a particular stage, it doesn't go at that speed, but it will be still good. It will give you good yield and things like that. Yes, so the first question that I ask myself is, can this, how much, what is the downside? How low can it go? And if it goes, does it really hurt my portfolio? Have I invested a significant amount for me to worry about the downside and stop loss, etc.? 99% of the cases, answer is yes. And will my upside be greater than my downside? Because if I lose a bit in a few shares, am I going to be more worried than those shares which are going up? Here I would like to take especially at this time, I would like to take a banker's attitude rather than a venture capitalist attitude. Banker's attitude is, every rupee that I give has to come back. I cannot assume that some will come, some will not come, and the money which I am giving is, the pricing is enough to take care of that money which doesn't come. Yes, of course, in the longer run, yes, some money will not come, but every rupee that I give, I have to have a project manager who is able to say what is happening in the project on a regular basis. This is how a banker works. A venture capitalist takes a view that some may succeed, some may fail, but in this market of valuation, you're much better off taking a banker's attitude, saying, will I will I lose money, how much will I lose, and what is the downside, and should I have a very strict stop loss. All these things are useful, especially when the markets are booming and you don't want to be left out, you're still investing. So your checklist needs this major change. So also, like Scott Adams says, the process is important, the goals are not important. So the process to check that every share that you buy at this hour during this time is the downside is well protected. Of course, downside protection is needed always, but now that does it earn high returns on capital? To me, that is very important, that the money that it earns is higher than the return on capital. I mean, the return on capital is higher than the cost of funds, and I'm assuming cost of funds for corporate India is still to be about 8.5-9%, not 6% of gilt, because even if your interest rates are currently lower, chances are it will go up, and the minute it goes up, your costs will go up. So you have to earn at least 8-9%, which is the best, and about 15% is what really attracts my attention. So then the other question is has it already arrived, or does it have a long runway of reinvestment prospects? Will it keep putting money back into the business for a very long period of time? To me, that's a slight no-no, because even though the company is investing and if the company is getting a good ROCE and is able to invest, that's a great combination. But many companies with a good ROCE don't really need the money. Your P&G, HUL, Colgates of the world don't need the money, because everything is outsourced. Even manufacturing is outsourced. They're only marketing it, and so for marketing they don't require too much money. So these are the companies which will have a high dividend payout ratio also. Sorry, I'm digressing, but that's very important to know. Do they have a long runway of investment prospects, right? Do they have to do it? Because if they have to do it, then your money can double much faster than what in your original checklist. If you wanted 4-year doubling, this will happen, 4 years will happen, and again 4 will happen, and again 4 will happen. So the need to look for a new share after 3-4 years or 2-3 years, whenever the money has doubled, is not necessary, right? I know that we look at moats, but then with companies like Amazon, moats can disappear, right? So when Amazon decides that they will not use a Diners card or a Visa card or a MasterCard, they're holding them by the throat, and then the PE of Visa will disappear, because the PE has to shift from Visa to Amazon, because Amazon is able to do that pricing. If Amazon says that I will not use a particular bank or a particular credit card, believe me, that is doomed. So is Amazon competition for Visa? No, but Amazon has amazing negotiating power, so which means Amazon can go and create its own card. It does not require a Visa or a MasterCard to create that. So that's it. End of story. So there can be an HDFC Bank Amazon card or an ICICI Amazon card. They may not need the Visas and MasterCards of the world. They can use RuPay, right? So yes, we are interested in moats. I'm interested in seeing how good the moats are, but I'm also accepting that moats can disappear, completely disappear. If somebody like Amazon, Google, Facebook decides to come into your business, you better fold up, right? So similarly, if I'm doing a business where I find that Mukesh Ambani wants to come in, best is to be an early mover, sell off and go, because all these companies have deep pockets and they can ruin a small business. So, and they've done it in the past. It's not as though they've not done it. Look at the telecom industry. Everybody is bleeding except one person. So you have to be worried about that. Does the business require a lot of capital to grow? To me, that's a big, I don't like that, because if it's an NBFC, for example, constantly they will require money for growth. It's not a bad thing, because if the ROCE is good, it's a good business, then they can keep pumping money back. But if you think that the business will stop growing if you stop pumping in money, to me that's not a very great business. Is the company in a win-win relationship with everybody, right? So I don't like ITC because to me it spreads cancer, and that's not a great thing. And nor do I like Coke. So internationally, I wouldn't like to invest in Coke, and nationally, I wouldn't like to invest in ITC. Also because one of the big soft drink companies, the MD said, "Oh, I don't let my children drink this product." right? She never allowed her children to consume. So that itself for me is a put away from that industry. I wouldn't even go anywhere near that industry, right? So some of these are my checklist. So the business has to be such that the people love it. I'm quoting Jeff Bezos when he says that people love it. It can grow to a very large size. It has got good ROCE and it is durable in time. Right? These are the 4 things which Jeff Bezos says. See, this is the advantage of reading, because you can somebody else summarizes your business process for you. So this I've spoken about this business process a few days ago, saying therefore I will not invest in Coke and ITC. So similarly, I will not invest in Coke and ITC because it scores on every of these things, saying it has got a good ROCE, it has got a good long-term view. But I'm worried in the long term, many people may not consume it. But make no mistake, in India, ITC is under no threat, because people at the bottom of the pyramid who are right now into BD and other forms of tobacco all aspire to become cigarette smokers. So we have a huge runway as far as ITC is concerned. I don't like to invest because I think I don't want to be a party to a company which is spreading cancer. So that is my view. So this is my checklist. There are a lot more. I mean, I have a checklist for balance sheet. I have a checklist for P&L. So a lot of things, but this is broadly my checklist. Thank you.